Hey, what's up, YouTube? It's Richie from Boston. It is the 12th of January in the year 2020. And sorry, I am a little bit late with the live stream. I was literally videotaping. Okay, this is freaking me out. Stand by. Okay, this is freaking me out. My camera's in the exact same spot, but somehow I'm sideways. This is freaking me out. Stand by. I'm freaking out. How is my camera angle completely changed? Everything is in the exact same spot. All right, whatever. At any rate, that's freaking me out. I've done a lot of live streams and I know what I look like on the watch page. And somehow I am sideways. Whatever. All right, whatever. What is up? Andrew Potter has got the wrench low key. What's up? Rocco Donato. What's up, brother? The Narrow Path C, Rico, Justin DeVoe, Jerry Cirque, Angels and Demons 777, Timmy from Bama, Ray Schellenberger, Mary Johnson, Trevelon, Hilda DeMarco, Ernest Stidman, Lacius Laced. Yeah, I know, but I mean, I'm looking at myself and I'm sideways. How could I be? This is freaking me out. The camera is exactly where the camera always is on the watch page. I'm sitting like this. I don't know. I'm freaking out. My butler tipped over. Whatever. All right. Here we go. So check this out. The reason I'm late is because I was over at the ocean. The tide was way out, and I videotaped the moon coming directly up over the Atlantic Ocean. Most people don't get a chance to do that, but I'll tell you what. As advertised, the moon was at 93.6%. So it wasn't full. It was at 93.6%. I saw somebody mention they checked their farmer's almanac and they should not have had a full moon. And they did. So that's kind of strange. But I mean, I just videotaped it coming up. And while walking all the way back in the dark, I tripped over. I'm carrying a camera and a tripod. I tripped over a bunch of rocks. I fell on my big fat face. Said a bunch of really, usual things you could imagine if I fell on my face. Walked all the way home, and when I got home, realized that my cell phone was gone. So I had to go all the way back to the beach, go walking back out on the rocks. It's totally dark out there, and I found my phone. So there's that. So blah, 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 blah. I videotaped the moon. I got what appears the moon coming out of a portal again. Because when it comes up, it's completely red. It's not regularly shaped. It's not small and white. It's ginormous and orange. It's probably 5 times larger than it is when it's coming up than when it is in the sky. Now, it depends on where you live, but you may never get a chance to see that. So I videotaped it for you. And it's uploading in 4K right now, very, 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 very slowly. So there's that. And I got something really crazy in front of it. And then also one of my subscribers she doesn't want to use her real name, so we're going to call her Perry Chronicles, caught the lunar wave. And I've got video of it. Yeah, we got video of it. Crows caught the lunar wave numerous times. Many people have caught it numerous times. Many people have debunked it, saying that it wasn't real, blah, 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 this, that, and the other thing. But it is what it is. Whenever you get too close to the target, you get debunked. So that happens. But the moon is a female entity, according to the book of Enoch. I've gone over this ad nauseum with you guys, but we're going to go over it ad nauseum more so. So there's that. Well, America won't claim the moon because we gave away the internet. We gave away the most powerful thing, the most powerful economic engine on earth. We gave it away because America. You know what I mean? The elected officials are the ones that are allowed to do whatever they want. They can spray the skies. They can tell you if your food is genetically modified or not. They can dump lithium in your water. They can dump whatever they want into the sky. No big deal. So if they wanted to claim the moon, they could even make a tax where you're not allowed to look at the moon unless you pay a tax, because why not? They've done pretty much everything else. You know what I'm saying? So there's that. Yeah, the Book of Enoch is serious. And the fact that it's not canonized doesn't faze me in the least, because who canonized the Bible? You know what I'm saying? The same evil entity that is inhabiting the Vatican, the same evil entity that's gotten people to pray to man, to call the Pope Father, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I don't give it very much credence that it isn't canonized. So the Pope is an evil MFer. That's all there is to it. So there's that. And that could be completely true. So let's do this. Before we get going, let's just say this little quick psalm, and you will see the meaning very shortly. Most of you will probably already know exactly why I'm reading this psalm. But it's Psalm 19:1 from the King James Version. The heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament showeth his handiwork. Now, the firmament is in Psalms, which was canonized. So if the firmament's not real, why did they canonize it? You know, canonize it. My bad. I just walked all the way down to the beach and back and tripped and lost my phone. It was very traumatic, but I'm here. I am here. Cybergun01. Me too, brother. Me too. For real. I love that thumbnail, man. How apropos. See that? The notorious DIP. The Pope on a rope. Indeed. Indeed. All right, let's get into this real quick. I am going to show you fresh video of the lunar wave. It is badass. And this woman doesn't even want credit for it at all. But it is, she sent it to me. I looked at it, and right off the rip, I said, you got the lunar wave. And then she sent it to Crow, and right off the rip, he said, you've got the lunar wave. But real quick. I'm a former Christian, and nowhere in the Bible does it say to pray. No, it says call no other man father. You know what I'm saying? How do you get a wrench? Well, I don't know you, dude. And it's the first time I've ever seen you in the chat. So, you know, it ain't happening. Sorry, pal. Sorry, Charlie. All right, let me see what I even got up here. I forgot. All right, let's look at this real quick. This is video that I've taken of the moon. I believe this was the harvest moon. And like I said, I have a very unique perspective because I can see this coming up over the Atlantic. The only thing behind this, out to sea, look at this tanker. This tanker is about 10 miles out to sea, FYI. I don't know if you can see that. Let me get my big fat face out of the way. Let me get this comment out of the way. You see that right there? See this tanker? Way over here. He's about the shipping channel's 10 miles out. So he's about 10 miles out to sea, but I could zoom right in on him, no problem. But this was the harvest moon coming up. And as you can see, the sun's already set. The moon is enormous. It's enormous because it isn't orbiting around the Earth. It's coming up out of a portal. I'm almost positive of it. And the only people that could actually debunk that one way or the other would be airline pilots. Now, think about this. These are the same airline pilots that were saying for years and years and years there were no UFOs because they were told not to. Do you know what I'm saying? Most of the guys that are airline pilots that would have the ability to fly way out there, etc., were also in the military. These were guys that made it to be pilots, so they came out, became airline pilots. Pilots are people that can follow the rules. People that'll follow orders, people that belong to groups, so forth, so on. These are the same people that have seen all sorts of wacky crap in the sky and never said anything. So you don't have to. You don't have to. So that's not a problem. You don't have to buy any of that stuff. But explain to me how we're doing a live stream and people are looking at it in other continents rising up over their house while I'm looking at it rising up over my house at the same time. Doesn't make any sense. How come at 8:30 at night, I can stand in Massachusetts, look straight up at a certain constellation, and then go to Florida and at 8:30 at night, look straight up at the same constellation? Everything that's above us is not what we think it is whatsoever at all. At all. You don't have to buy anything because I ain't selling it. You know what I'm saying? This is my opinion and my opinion only, period. Asshole, laptop. Just turns out this asshole's been right more times than I've been wrong. But I've been right a lot and I've been wrong a lot. But the moon coming out of a portal, well, it turns out it wasn't my idea. It just makes much more sense when you really start to look at it. So there's that. And it was written about in pretty much every single ancient text there was. And I'll show you one right now, real quick. This is a lot of words right here. This is a lot of words. But as Enoch was taken through the various stages of heaven, he saw all this occurring over and over and over and over again. Now, I didn't get a chance to go there with Enoch because he didn't call me because I lost my cell phone at the time. I'm just kidding. That's not true. Because some people are going, really? You got to remember, some people aren't, not everybody's at the same level in this game. Let me give you this link real quick. But I would suspect that all 1,300 of you already have read the Book of Enoch. And if you haven't, you should, because it's right there. And they even allow you, I think for like $9, you can buy this entire sacred text on a thumbnail drive. Do you know what I'm saying? Oh my goodness, David Icke never said that. Well, David Icke is well then there you go, LG. Yeah, David Icke. Well, if they, you know what, we should just pull the plug, because if David Icke doesn't believe it, it can't be true, because he's certainly not one to change with the times. I mean, it's not like he claimed he was Jesus and then completely changed his story and was the only one on YouTube completely unaffected when everyone else's channels got frozen, demonetized, or completely pulled down. You see what I'm saying? That's your hint. That's what we call a litmus test. Well, this is how I am. If I'm in a good mood, I'm in a good mood. So I found my phone. I'm in a good mood, because that would have sucked. All right, let's look at this one more time, and I'll show you this one more time real quick. Okay. Psalm 19:1. I mean, I know you're already going to know this, but there's some people that don't. The heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament showeth his handiwork. Now, why am I showing that? Come on. I know you guys already know the answer. I know it's going to pop up. But for those that don't know, it seems like it would be a strange place for somebody that got us to the moon by building a rocket. A guy that was there you go. There you go. There it is right there. There it is right there. Exactly. Von Braun. This guy got us to outer space. This guy was a Nazi scientist. He belonged to the SS, if I'm remembering correctly, but I might not be. It happens. Doesn't make any difference. This guy was in charge of slaves that were doing slave labor. People died under his command. He was what we were told we had to go to World War II for. But they found uses for him. So they brought this Nazi war criminal home and had him build us rockets. But the weird thing is when he died, he had a flat headstone, first of all, instead of some big monument or an obelisk or anything else like these guys would have had. You know what I'm saying? He had a flat headstone, and he put Psalms 19:1 on it. That's a strange Bible verse for a guy that allegedly got us to the moon, that was on the the wonderful world of Disney all the time, touting the adventures in outer space we were all going to have. He put Psalm 19:1 on his headstone. And I know this is old news, but to some people, it ain't. So we're going to go through this one by one, step by step, blah by blah. So there is that. Why in the world would somebody so brilliant that they excused all the war crimes he committed, brought him to the United States in Operation Paperclip with thousands of other war criminals, and used him to allegedly get us to the moon. Why would he put that on there? You think he didn't read it? You know what I'm saying? How come he didn't have some big monument of a stone, like an obelisk, like the Freemasons love so very much? He had a flat stone. Because the earth is flat. Or it's the earth. We're not on a rock rocketing through space, going around the sun, blah, blah, blah. The sun and the moon are very, very close. Don't believe me? Let me show you then. Let me show you something real quick. Is this it? Stand by, because I had to get ready for this real quick. Stand by. Here we go. Got it. Give me a sec, guys. I mean, I literally just walked in 5 minutes before this live stream was supposed to start. Which one was it? Got it. These are all videos that I had up on my channel anyway, so I'm assuming you've already seen them, but some people don't realize there's like 2,500 videos. You see this? This is not a GoPro. This is a regular camera on a really high balloon. I've shown you, I don't know how many times people are putting balloons up there. See the sun? See the sun? It's about the same level as the camera. It's creating a hotspot on the ground. Okay, here we go. We're going to wacky land right now. What was this? I've also got a video I put up, and I think you probably already saw it, or maybe you didn't. I don't know. But it's a thermal, it's an infrared camera that looks through all the clouds and everything, and it's flat, and it's flat, and it's flat, because it's flat. Therefore, there is no going to the moon. I mean, think about it. Let's just use common sense for a moment. I'm not going to say use your adult mind or say any of that stuff like this. Use common sense, okay? If we went to the moon when I was a baby 50 years ago, why aren't we going back and forth all the time, nonstop, never ending? Why is there no real-time footage of the moon or the Earth orbiting? They've got, according to them, they've got a camera called Epic that actually debunks their entire story. It debunks everything about NASA. And they've got these other magical Hubble telescopes that the guy that manages Hubble never even saw. No one's even seen this thing. Why don't they just turn it around once and do a live stream? You know what I'm saying? They got the technology to do it because they've got a rover up on Mars that runs on unlimited batteries. It never gets dirty. It's always running. It's all good. And it transmits. No problem. I don't have a cell phone signal with Verizon Fios in the next city over. I don't live in, this isn't a town. We live in cities. I live 5 miles north of Boston, and there's no signal in the next city. No signal. There's tons and tons of dead areas, but these guys have a signal from Mars. No problem. Why don't they turn one of the cameras around? Because they can't, because it's bullshit. That's all these guys do is bullshit. Everything about NASA is bullshit, starting with the, I don't know, let's start with Werner von Braun and the other people from Operation Paperclip. Well, that's not enough for you. Are you a Nazi sympathizer? It happens. Okay. Let's go to one of the other wacky folks that work there. How about this? The guy that started JPL. I've done videos about this, but we're trying to prove a point here. Jack Parsons, Jet Propulsion's Laboratory, JPL. This guy was not only a black magician, but he worked with Aleister Crowley. He worked with L. Ron Hubbard. These guys did crazy stuff, including what I was talking about the other night. These guys were the ones that actually did Babylon Working. He was there. These guys were trying to animate a golem or breathe the breath of life into an animated thing. I forget its name, but it was in Jumbo. Babylon Working, sex magic, black magic. I'm sure they killed somebody. No big deal, because spilling blood, menstrual blood, sex magic, all that stuff works out really, really well for them. A golem, not a volume. It does. Barry, you're off the hook. It's like you're trying to get the channel in trouble. I'm really starting to wonder about you. I'm just, I don't know. At any rate, everything to do with these guys is occult or or Nazis or things you wouldn't think were, you know, what you would need to get to the moon, but it's what they do all the time. So you don't think that black magic's bad. That's all good. Okay, let's go to this. Let's use their own telescope here. Where is it? Where is it? Here we go. I did this video several years ago, but this is them. This is their own telescope. This is from NASA's website. Now, do you see that? Do you see that picture right there? It's flashing on my end, so it's freaking me out. All right, let me get this out of here. Indeed, a bunch of crap. All right, stand by because I got to fix this. That's the picture they claim they took from the moon. And then this is their own epic satellite showing the moon in real time going around the Earth. According to them, the moon is enormous. It's a quarter to a third the size of the Earth, according to them. Well, then how come their own telescope is showing this ginormous rock and then their own pictures from outer space show this tiny thing? Do you know what I'm saying? This picture is the Earth from the moon. But in real life, if you were on the moon, this little tiny thing taking a picture of the Earth is all you would see. Common sense. Do you see what I'm saying? Do you see what I'm saying? This is their own equipment because they don't care. They talk now. They talk like they're going back to the moon or they're going to the moon for the first time. It isn't possible. You're not going to the moon because the moon is plasma. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but I'll tell you what, if you were videotaping the moon coming up out of the ocean like I just did just now, you'd probably understand that. As a matter of fact, I think that video just uploaded. It did. All right. Let me see what it looks like. I haven't even seen this yet. This is straight raw. So let's see what it looks like. Stand by. Here we go. I mean, this is the exact instant it came out of the ocean. Like, see what I'm saying? It hasn't even cracked the surface. The funny thing is this is, according to them, this is our natural satellite. This is orbiting the Earth. The problem is how come the big white moon that lights everything up isn't lighting up the space above it as of yet? Because it's still orange. Now, this is going to come up. It's going to be enormous. It's going to be absolutely enormous. And it's bright orange. It's always bright orange when it comes out of the ocean. The problem is, according to their story, the moon is reflecting the sun's light. But problematically, the moon is 180 degrees away from the sun, and the sun has set on the other side of the Earth. So the Earth would be in the way. So there'd be no way the sun could illuminate the moon right now. And yet it is. Do you see what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Do you see what I'm saying? If the moon is reflecting the sun's light, the problem right now is the sun is directly behind me and the Earth is in the way. So there would be no way the moon would be lit up. Stand by. It's hard to focus because there's such a small slice of the moon. And it was windy as F. But here it comes. And when it comes up, it is in a very, very liquid state. It isn't white, it isn't small, and it isn't emulating cold air as of yet. It doesn't start making the atmosphere, it doesn't start making the air feel cold till it turns white, I've noticed. And I've done this a lot of times. Exactly. If you look at, that was the wrong comment. There's a video in the early 60s that I've put up a bunch of times. There was a lot of scientists that were going to prove the moon was made of plasma. And then next thing you know, Kennedy pops up and we're going to go to the moon, not because it's easy, because it's hard. And then what, 9 months later, we're on the moon, we're on the moon, we're on the moon. And then we never go back to the moon ever again. Well, there's that and many other things, but yeah, that's one of them. Oh, it's not even leaning to the left. It's all wacky. It's all wacky for a long time. I've got the camera zoomed out a lot, and it was really, really windy. I was freezing my butt off, but I still got it. Now, the line you're seeing down here is the Atlantic. That's the Atlantic Ocean. It's coming up right now. And I caught some sort of crazy thing flying right in front of it. I think it's a chemtrail plane, but I can't tell. It was too hard, but you'll see it. It's crazy. So stand by. You know what? Maybe I should speed this up because the moonrise isn't the fastest, most natural thing. Here we go. All right, that's at speed and a half. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. I'll put this up in 4K or whatever tomorrow. But it's the entire thing is in fluid. This is, well, that's atmospheric lensing. Yeah, the problem with that is the ships that were sitting right next to it to its left, I videotaped them as well, and they're way, way out there. There was no atmospheric lensing. There was no distortion with their lights. Every time I've ever videotaped the moon coming up over the ocean or coming out of the mountains out west, this is what it looks like as soon as it comes up over the horizon. Every single time. It isn't white. It isn't round. It isn't nice and neat. It's always in a state of fluid, plasma, whatever, like this. I don't know if this thing's going to fly through here. Stand by. It isn't. All right. At any rate. Okay. So you don't believe that. That's too much of a stretch. Watch this. This woman, Parry Chronicles, took this video and sent it to me last night. Stand by. I want to make sure I share this correctly, but this is without a doubt. The moon is either resetting or it's some sort of plasma in front of the moon. Come on. I don't know what I just did here. Stand by. I'm trying to make it really big, but you can clearly see this right there. And the entire moon moves. The entire move. This woman's emailed me many times over the years. She wants no credit for this. You can clearly see this thing happening. Not once, not twice. It's always two in a row. I don't know how long this video is. And it's gone. I hope you can see that. I'm going to put it up tomorrow anyways. But like I said, the YouTuber or whatever, Parry Chronicles, put this up. She wanted no credit for this. Right there. And then there's another one right behind it, and she sent it to Crow 777, and he said the exact same thing I did. So long story short, there's no way that it's refreshing exactly like the old computer screens used to if it's a rock and some random person with a Nikon P900 caught it. You know what I'm saying? I'll tell you what, if you're going to buy a Nikon, don't get the P1000. I got the P1000 and it sucks. It's big, it's heavy, and it doesn't focus as well as the P900 did. Did you see that? I'm going to post it again tomorrow anyway. So there's that. Yeah, well, he's got a busy schedule, so it is what it is. I'll try at any rate. All right. Well, you probably, tripping. You might have seen what you were seeing. Who knows? Who knows? There's a reason that doctors were testing with DMT so very many times. They are? A P9? Seriously? Halfway? Email me. Send me a link to that, please. rjcjr10@yahoo.com. rjcjr10@yahoo.com. That could be a song. A lame song, but still. Mike Decker, I do not know how he does it. Dude, I got a really good tripod, and I can't keep things from moving around exponentially, especially when zoomed out. It's hard. So, all right, what else did I want to show you? The Book of Enoch, NASA lies, their own, I mean, just common sense, okay? Let's look at what NASA has. I'm going to show you only information right now from NASA, and tell me they don't think that we're the stupidest people on the entire earth. This is what they showed us from the astronauts. All right, stand by. Let me find it. Like I said, I was running very, very late. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Stand by. Stand by. Here we go. Boom. All right. Am I screen sharing? Nice. At least I got that going. This is the picture that NASA claims. This is the moon, astronauts. It's a photo snapped by the Apollo 10 crew. Image via NASA. That's the Earth. Fast forward to years later, And then NASA's, oh, this is NASA's website. This is their EPIC telescope. This is the Earth captured by NASA's Earth Imaging Camera, EPIC, EPIC. The problem is if you were standing on this in any way whatsoever at all and taking a picture of this, it's all you would see. It'd be like being in a movie theater. Hopefully, no alphabet agencies come in there and do a shooting drill. But if you were in a movie theater, taking a picture of the screen, all you would get would be a picture of the screen because the screen is all encompassing. It's all you can see. And this is NASA's own telescope proving that. But yet, this is what they fed people 60 years ago. Oh, come on, Richie. I'm 70 years old. I heard the moon landing on the radio. Come on, you're telling me it was fake. That's ridiculous. If we could have went there 50 years ago, we'd be going back and forth every single solitary day. And for all the old-time professional awoke people like David Icke and what's his name? I can't think of his name, that there's glass things up on the moon. I'll tell you what. Demonic chemtrails, planes going in and out of portals, little glass things on the moon. I spend a lot of my life. I've spent a lot of the last 10 years through a P900 and a P1000 videotaping the moon, stars, sun, and airplanes. I've never seen a hovering airplane, and I live next to Logan Airport, which is like a great place for them to hover, but they don't. I've never seen demonic chemtrails. I've seen a shit ton of chemtrails, but I've never seen demonic ones. Are they demonic in general? Yeah, the whole thing's demonic, but I digress. And there's nothing up on the moon whatsoever at all, because the moon is just like the stars. The stars are luminaries. The stars know when you have a camera on them. Every one of you that have pointed a P900 or whatever at a star, you can tell they can tell that you're watching them because they make it almost impossible to focus. They make it almost, they don't stay still. Do you see what I mean? The moon and the sun are the same thing, period. Like I said, I just happen to live next to the Atlantic, so I can get video of it coming out of the Atlantic. There's nothing behind it. The next stop would be England, I would imagine. It's funny that you mentioned that. That's another thing. I'm glad you just said that because I was going to wrap this up, and I'm not going to because I still got this. Stand by. Here it is. Here's another little piece of business that they don't like us talking about, but it's not our fault. Seriously? I didn't know that. You see this right here? This is a video I did with Edward Hendry, the guy that wrote The Greatest Lie on Earth. And we were talking about the Challenger explosion. And I had one of my rare moments where I hit a home run, where I hit an absolute home run. I said to Edward live, I said, dude, if all the people on the Challenger shuttle had these twins, all of them had twins, because that's what they claim. Every single one of them has an exact twin that looks just like them, has the same name, and they're all still alive, working and teaching children someplace. I said, how come not one of their identical twins with the same names? Identical twins with the same names, which makes no sense. I mean, it seems like out of all those people that allegedly died on the Challenger explosion drill, it seems like the parents of all these people would have named their identical twins at least something different. Because, I mean, I'm not a parent, but if I had two kids that looked exactly alike, I mean, it would be easier to name them both the same thing, but wouldn't it be better to name them something different so you could tell them apart? Or is that just me thinking crazy thoughts? It's tough to tell. Who can tell? But according to NASA, that's exactly what happened. It's exactly what happened. Unfortunately, we forgot to tell you that when we launched this Space Shuttle Challenger that exploded and it was horrible and America was upset. And, you know, we're not going to do that anymore. It's no good. Turns out every single person that was on there has an identical twin still alive. He does. He does. She does. He does. I don't remember her or him, but that's just because I ingest a lot of aluminum. But they all still have the same names, conveniently enough. All of them. Exactly. I mean, you know, let's keep this all in perspective. I'm the first one to tell you that I'm no NASA employee. I'm not a rocket scientist, but if I had identical twins, I guess maybe I would name them the exact same thing so that 50 years down the road, in case they got into a spaceship that exploded, it would keep the memory. I mean, it's just bullshit. It's utter bullshit. For those of you that don't know me and don't realize that was just sarcasm, that was sarcasm, okay? Some people that don't live in the Northeast don't get sarcasm, which I don't get. Sarcasm is a tool and should be wielded as such, and I wield it quite often, but I digress. You see all these people? They're all still alive. Do you know where they all worked? They all work for NASA. Do you know who else worked for NASA? A Nazi scientist, and then about 1,000 other Nazi scientists. And that's a fact. And it's called Operation Paperclip. And it's just an absolute fact, period. And you know who else worked for them? Actually, who else helped get them to the stars? Was an occultist who was involved in one of the biggest occult activities ever foisted on mankind, Babylon working. And right after that event is when we started seeing UFOs, which people think are aliens that are actually demonic entities. And here's another wacky little fun fact that maybe people did or did not know. Satellites, everything you see everything NASA presents to us somehow was also presented to us way back in the 50s by a guy named Arthur C. Clarke, a writer whose seamless blend of scientific expertise and poetic imagination helped usher in the space age. You see that little piece of truth right there? A writer whose seamless blend of scientific expertise and poetic imagination helped usher in the space age. Because way back before we had just, and I'm learned, all right, I'm effing this up. When we went to World War II, these dudes were using jet engines. We had propellers. After we just overwhelmed these guys and, stopped their money and whatever actually really happened over there, who knows? We came home with jet engines and so forth and such, but we didn't have satellites and any of that crap because you can't do a satellite. And if you think about it, satellites don't even make sense. But everything this guy, Arthur C. Clarke, let me put the link in the chat. The links will all be in the description, pinned in the comment section anyway. So you should watch him afterwards because this is kind of a big deal because NASA plays an enormous part in the American zeitgeist we find ourselves drowning in right now. Everything this guy wrote about in the 50s is basically what they were like, hey, you know what? Arthur C. Clarke's got a good idea. Let's just completely copy all of it, make some really good movies. We'll hook up with Disney. We'll get some cultists and we'll get some Nazi dudes together. We'll probably smoke a huge bowl, take some DMT, tell everybody they're monkey, fish, frogs, and then say we went to the moon a bunch of times, and then for 50 years, we won't do that at all. And if they say anything, we'll launch a big airplane into the sky, tell them it isn't an airplane, tell them that space shuttle that they see landing with fumes coming out of the back is simply gliding. And if anything gets too hectic, we'll just blow it up and tell them everybody died, and then they'll be sad until YouTube shows up and a bunch of jerk-offs and a bunch of assholes with laptops figure it all out and start telling everybody it's all fake, folks. Because it's all fake. You see this video right here? This should be proof enough if I was actually sharing it. And I'm going to put it up in its own video so you can peruse it carefully in wonderful high definition. But I'll tell you what, that's either a wave of some sort of plasma moving over the surface of the moon that causes the moon to move exactly like an LCD screen would, or it's an enormous screen. But I'll tell you what, the moon isn't a rock and nobody landed on it, which is why they don't go back anymore. Because if they tried to pretend to go back now, we could monitor them the entire from the Earth to the moon. We could follow them, and they can't have that because it's total, complete bullshit. We live on an Earth that, according to them, is spinning. We're just zooming around and blah, blah, blah. And then we're also rocketing around the sun. And then we're also flying through the solar system at these magnificent speeds that all come out to 666 somehow. But the moon, our little buddy up there, it doesn't turn. It only shows one face at all times. Nothing to see here, folks. If you told anybody that story, if NASA already didn't, they would tell you were an absolute effing liar. You can't make propulsion in a vacuum, and you couldn't fire a rocket engine in a vacuum. Another YouTuber proved that inadvertently, but I digress. At any rate, I'm out.